Hello everyone, welcome back to lecture 42. In previous lecture, what we have learned about what a tuple is, how can we create a tuple, what are different methods we can imply by using a tuple. In today's video, I'll teach you that what another method is available to creating a tuple, that is without using parentheses. And after that, we'll also see some kind of functions and minimum, min, max, and sum function for tuples. And apart from that, very important topic I'll tell you is that how can we access and change list inside a tuple. So let's get started with the video. So okay, I have already told you that tuples can also be written in this way using parentheses, without using parentheses. So what I mean is, in previous cases, I created a tuple. I'll create it again. Let's say my variable name is tuple1, and I have a tuple, say 1 2 python. It will also create 0.45, and I also have my name included in here. So this is a tuple, right? Let's if I check my type of tuple1, it will give me tuple, right? Now if I create a tuple2, I'll copy all things, everything is same, no change is there. I'll just remove the parenthesis. So now if I check this type of tuple2, I'll just now if I check the type of tuple2, it is also giving me a tuple. So this is another way of creating a tuple. What you can do is, you can, if you don't use parentheses, it will not create a problem at all. It will create you a tuple as it is. Now let's see what a tuple unpacking is. So I'll create this tuple only. I'll take this tuple only as an example. What we can do is, so this is my tuple. What tuple unpacking means is, so I have here 1 2 3 4 5 elements in this tuple, right? Let's say each I have created a variable el1, that is element 1, el2, that is element 2, el3, that is element 3. If I create el4, element 4, el5, that is element 5, and let it be equal to my tuple 2. Okay. Now when I print my, let's say, element 1, and after that I also want to print my element 5, let's see what is happening there. So my element 1 has been given the value of 1. It means what it has done is that when we have assigned it this way, so this element 1 becomes 1, this element 2 becomes this 2, this element 3 becomes this python, element 4 becomes this 0.46, and this element 5 becomes the Vyansh. So this is, and if you want to check for another any other element, let's say print el3, so each element has been, so tuple has been unpacked to different 5 elements, because there are 5 elements in tuple. It has been unpacked to different 5 single entities. So this is how tuple unpacking can be done. This kind of unpacking can also be done in the list. So let's say I have a list named ABC, and my list is hey python, and my other 2, and let's say 5. So this is my list. Okay, if now there are 4 elements, so I'll do that A B C D equal to, let's say, ABC, because my list name is ABC, and I'm unpacking into 4 elements, and those 4 elements are contained in variable A B C and D. You can take anything here. Great. Now if I run this code, and let's say now I want to print my value of A, I also want to print the value of D. So see, A should give me hey, correct, and D should give me the value of 5, which is absolutely correct. So this is how unpacking can be done in tuples as well as list. Fine. Now what we have to do is, let's go to a very good example of lists inside a tuple. Let me give you an example what my tuple should be. let's random is the name of my tuple, and I'm not giving any parentheses here. My tuple contains the value of 256.48. It also contains a list, and that list contains uh, 47, 110, 10, and let's say I'll input my name. And it also contains, apart from this list, let's say one more complex number. So this is a tuple which have how many elements? 1, 2, 3. This whole list will be considered as one element, 4, and this complex number 5, right? If I check my length of random, it should give me 5. Correct. Now what I want to mainly tell you is that we cannot add or remove anything in tuple because they are immutable. Correct. But we can make any changes in this list. Although this list is in a tuple, but because it is a list and we can make changes, we have seen several methods to add or remove data from list. We can do that same thing here as well. How can we do that? You first access the list here. So list is at what index? 0, first, second, third. If I write here random 3, so this will give me on my list. Now what I can do is, let's say I want to remove a name Divyansh. I just want to remove Divyansh from my list. So what and Divyansh is at the last of my list, right? So if I can use the pop method, if you remember, random 3. Now this will give me list. Now to make change in list, to make last element of a list, what we do pop method. So this shows me that it will remove Divyansh. Now if I print my random tuple, so you can see in this list this Divyansh has been removed. Similar way, let's say now instead of removing, I just want to add something to my list. So this will give me, this will access the list, and let's say I want to add another list which contains the element 1, 2. So how I can do is append. Okay, I'll just add a single element now. That append, and let's say I want to add hey. And now if I print my random, you can see it has included the hey value. So this is how you can make a change in a list even if it is inside the tuple. Great. Now let's see min, max and sum functions. So I have a data. I have already made a tuple. This is a tuple because I haven't included the parentheses. I can include the parentheses. It will not make any difference. I have a tuple by name res underscore a, which contains what information this tuple contains is, it contains the water saturation, gas saturation and hydrocarbon saturation in this reservoir. So my water saturation, let's say, is 0.2 and my gas saturation is 0.25 and my this saturation is 0.55, that is hydrocarbon saturation. So now what I want to do is, let's say I want to see what is the minimum value out of all. So simply I would write minimum inside this parenthesis. I'll write res underscore a. So this gives me 0.2. That is correct. Out of all three values, 0.2 is minimum value. Similarly, I can go for max res underscore a. It will give me the maximum value, that is 0.55. Now let's say I want to add all the three. So what I do, sum, you just write the tuple name inside this. This will add all the three values inside the tuple. So this will give me 1, and which is correct because the saturation, overall saturation should be equal to 1 in a reservoir, right? So this is all about tuples in this video. Thank you for joining, guys. I'll see you in the next lecture. Thank you.